The shadow does not disappear. If you don't invite it in, it will break in and burn down the house. You think you are a nice person, don't you? You never yell. But why do strange things happen to you? Why do you get depressed for no reason? Why do you accidentally destroy your own success? You are told that if you ignore dark thoughts, they vanish. That is a lie. They go underground. And there they grow monsters. Everyone carries a shadow, and unless it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Carl Jung. This is your shadow leaking out. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Today, we confront your fate. You are about to learn the 7 ways your shadow is ruining your life. You built a mask of the good person. You repressed anger, selfishness, greed. You locked them in the basement. You thought you were safe. But the basement is full. The shadow is an active personality, and it is furious. Because you won't let it speak, it hijacks your body, your tongue, your choices. You are 2 people at war, and the one you ignore is winning. When your shadow cannot speak, it projects. You spot a trait in someone else, arrogance, laziness, and feel intense hatred. You are reacting to a reflection. You attack them to avoid attacking yourself. It allows you to feel morally superior while engaging in the behavior you despise. John hates arrogant people. He despises his confident colleague, Mike. John thinks he is humble. In reality, John is consumed by a hidden desire to be recognized. His hatred of Mike is the screaming of his own starving ego. Perform the mirror confession. Identify the person who irritates you most. What trait do you hate? Stand in a mirror and say, I am that trait. Feel the disgust? That resistance is proof. You must accept you contain this trait. You work hard. You are close to success. Then, you do something inexplicable. You oversleep. You say the wrong thing. You destroy your victory. Your conscious mind wants success. Your shadow feels unworthy, so it pulls the emergency brake. You call it bad luck. Jung calls it the counterwill. Sarah gets a gallery show. Her dream. The week before, she gets drunk and insults the owner. Show canceled. She blames alcohol, but the alcohol just unlocked the shadow. Her shadow was terrified of success, so it blew up the bridge. Create a shadow contract. Before a big event, ask your shadow, what are you afraid of? Acknowledge the fear. Promise to protect it even if you succeed. Integrate the dissenter. The shadow distorts your view and destroys goals, but it can go deeper. It attacks the vessel you live in. Here's the part most people miss. The shadow does not want to destroy you. It wants to be felt, and it will use pain if it has to. When the psyche is silenced, the body screams. Repressed emotion is energy. It becomes physical symptoms. Back pain, migraines. This is your shadow as biology. Anger becomes a knot in your stomach. Doctors find nothing. The pathogen is a feeling you refuse to feel. David is a nice guy, never angry, but he suffers debilitating migraines. His body expresses the rage his mouth refuses to speak. The migraine forces him to stop serving others. It achieves what he could not achieve with a no. Practice somatic translation. Ask your symptom. If you could speak, what would you say? Does your back pain say, I am carrying too much? Listen, then act. Drop the burden. Aggression is a fundamental drive. If not channeled, it leaks. Sarcasm, lateness, the silent treatment. Acts of war disguised as accidents. Your shadow wants to hurt. Your ego wants to be good. So you hurt with plausible deniability. It destroys relationships like rust. Passive aggression is the shadow's revenge on your silence. Emily is angry at her husband. Instead of saying it, she accidentally shrinks his sweater or says, I'm fine, coldly. She vents her shadow's rage while keeping her ego's hands clean. Commit to direct conflict. Feel the urge to be snide? STOP. State your anger directly. I am angry because X. It feels terrifying. It feels mean. But it is the only way to clear the poison. You hold it in for months. You are a saint. Then, something trivial happens, spilled coffee, and you explode. You become a monster. That wasn't me, you say, but it was you. The shadow took possession because the pressure cooker exploded. The nice person is dangerous because they have no safety valve. Tom never complains. Then a barista gets his order wrong. He goes into a blind rage, screams. The rage wasn't about coffee. It was 10 years of suppressed humiliation finding a target. You need a pressure valve, scheduled time to release aggression, controlled violence, intensity with rules. Physically express the shadow in a controlled environment, so it doesn't choose an uncontrolled one. Your life is not random. If you see the pattern, right. I see the shadow. Alcohol, drugs, scrolling. You are numbing. What are you numbing? The voice of the shadow. The shadow holds your pain. You push it down, but you also numb your vitality. You become a zombie. The addiction is not the problem. It is the solution your ego found to manage the shadow. Lisa drinks wine to relax. In reality, the wine silences the voice saying, "I hate my life." It allows her to tolerate a life her shadow wants to burn down. Practice urge surfing. When the urge arises, sit with it. Ask, what feeling am I trying to kill? Boredom? Rage? Feel it for 10 minutes. The urge passes when the message is received. Perfectionism is not a virtue. It is a defense. You believe if you are perfect, you are safe. If you are perfect, the shadow cannot be seen. It is self-abuse, the tyrant ego whipping the shadow. It leads to a life that looks beautiful but feels dead. The shadow is messy. By trying to be perfect, you kill your humanity. James works weeks on a simple report. He is terrified of mistakes. He thinks he has high standards. In reality, he is terrified of shame. His perfectionism is the wall keeping the shadow out. Commit intentional imperfection. Send a typo. Leave the bed unmade. Do something wrong. Realize the world does not end. Break the tyranny of the ego. You locked the monster in the dark. You starved it. The great, liberating truth is this: the shadow is not your enemy. It is the source of your power. The enemy is your refusal to look at it. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. The Civil War ends today. Your protocol. Own projections. What you hate is in you. Translate symptoms. Your body is speaking. Fight openly. Stop passive aggression. Feel the pain. Stop numbing. Embrace the mess. Perfection is death. A whole person knows their darkness and chooses good anyway. Open the door. Invite the shadow to the table. If you are ready to integrate, write, "I embrace my shadow" in the comments below. Most people spend their lives running from themselves. Now you know the cost.